Hey everybody, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer here in rainy western Pennsylvania. There's a break in the action and the rain action right now, so I thought I'd come out and capture this introductory part of the video. But the purpose of this video is what you're looking at right now. Today is Thursday, July the 28th, I believe it is. And yesterday, Wednesday the 27th, my friend Dan and I, with a little help from my other buddy Corey, built this barn bridge, or barn ramp as some people would call it. This is the main barn on the farm, which you've seen before, and it is a bank barn, but our bank didn't go right up against the barn. Sometimes, that kind of situation can cause the wall of the barn to push in. So our bank was separated from the barn, and then, that gap was spanned with a barn ridge or barn ramp like this. I finished up baling hay on July the 11th, and Corey and Dan were up to help me, and I was baling out in the field. They were unloading, and as they pushed the last wagon, or one of the last wagons, up into the barn to unload it, right over in this section of the old bridge, two of the pine 2x6s broke under the wagon wheel because one of the beams underneath broke closer down to this end of the ramp. And when I got back and saw that, I knew that we were going to have to do something with it. I had been expecting it. I mean, I've been farming on my own here since my dad passed away, since 1989. And in that time, I replaced the 2x12 pine decking that we had on here twice already. So this was going to be the third time. And the stuff was really, I didn't think ever really strong enough. It worked, but those pine 2x12s would really flex in between the beams underneath. And I knew that here real soon I was going to have to do something. But what I didn't know was how bad the beams were underneath. So Dan came up one day last week, and we tore into this right side because the bridge was kind of split in half right about here, and it was this right half that was really getting bad. So we tore that off, thinking maybe I only needed to replace the right hand side of it. But and I'll put a picture in to show you what that looked like. But once we tore that off, I really started to see how bad things were underneath. Now, I still need to clean up my mess, but right here on this pile is the majority of the beams. Now, you might look at them and say, wow, those are old telephone poles. They look pretty sturdy. Well, they did on that end. But when you look down here, you can see how badly rotted they were. And look at this one. This was on the far left-hand side. The whole inside of it completely rotted out. And this one right here was on the far right-hand side. And you'll notice there was almost nothing left of it. I'm lucky that bridge didn't collapse. And this barn was supposedly built in the 1890s, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that beam was one of the originals, along with the barn. These telephone poles, I think my dad replaced them. And then there's one more beam right here, which has a piece of 2x6 nail, or 2x12 nailed to it. But you can see that it was pretty rotted out too. So I was really on borrowed time. And these are all the old, the debris, all the 2x12s that we took off, and that I'm going to be getting rid of here shortly to get them out of here. But, the old barn bridge was a mess. And when I saw that, Dan and I talked about it, and I figured, well, rather than just you do that half, I better just do the whole thing. So we completely tore the barn bridge out last week. It only took us about an hour. Pulled the old beams out from the side of the barn with a tractor, because they weren't really attached. They were just kind of laid in there on the some of the exterior beams of the barn wall. So we just pulled them out and had everything out. I went to one of my neighbors here about a mile down the road, is a Mennonite gentleman and has a sawmill, and I went there and bought a load of red oak, which I'll show you here in a picture. But that red oak, it's rough cut lumber, and I got 2 by 10 by 12s and 2 by I'm sorry, let me start again. I got 2 by 12 by 10s and 2 by 12 by 12s. They're all 12 inches wide, but I got 10 foot and 12 foot lengths so that we could stagger where the seams are on this thing. And then for beams, I got 5 by 6 red oak beams, and we put 7 of them underneath here, and some of them were even of a bigger dimension than that, just, a little bit, because they are just rough cut. But, everything in this barn bridge now is red oak, and it turned out really solid. So there you can see we used 5-inch decking screws that had, washers built into the top. And you can see that all of our joints are staggered so that it kind of ties the whole barn bridge together. And a little later in the video, I'll show you a picture of how we tested this whenever we were done. So Dan and I started on this. I mean, as I said, the other bridge was torn out last week. So yesterday morning, he and I started about 8. Corey had some cattle that he had to take to the slaughterhouse and drop off, so he ended up not getting here till after 11, and then we were done sometime around I think 3 o'clock. So it took us about 6 hours or so to completely 6 or 7 hours to completely finish this barn bridge from beginning to end. The only thing I really have left to do now is you can see I have a little bit of a drop off here, but I'm going to take the F600 to the quarry here soon and get a load of probably some 2B modified, and fill some of this in here and make a nice smooth way to get onto that ramp. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to include, I didn't really take any video of the building process because of how long it was going to be and, all of that. But I did take a few pictures along the way so that you can see our progress from beginning to end. And also you'll see how we tested it whenever it was done. The test was Dan's idea, and I thought it was a good one. And this barn bridge passed with flying colors. So I'll be back in a minute. All right, so now you've seen a little bit the behind the scenes and what this looked like as it was going up. I'm really happy with how it turned out. As I said, every bit of it, all the beams, all the lumber on top, it's all rough cut red oak, which I think is going to last a long time, and I'm not expecting in my lifetime of what's left of it to have to do anything more with this, and I'm really pleased with it. You saw the picture of the two Olivers, a 1650 and a 1550, backed up on there at the same time. When Dan and I each backed a tractor up on at the same time, there was not a creak or any kind of movement in any of those beams. Everything is totally solid, so I think there's going to be a good ramp here to the barn for quite a few years to come. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you'll consider subscribing. If you already have subscribed, I thank you very much for that. So for now, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, saying, see you next time.